this is Paul Turner, the immigration barrister at Imperium Chambers. Let's talk Toeic. It's still going on, notwithstanding the report of the APPG, the NAO. I was kindly invited to meet with Migrant Voice, which is a highly active and highly vocal and highly effective charity, to discuss from a legal perspective as to what's really going on. And I had a very productive meeting with those at Migrant Voice sometime in the last week. Things have been a little bit pressing, hence the delay in this broadcast. But what struck me was that there were a large number of individuals that were contacting Migrant Voice, and they were essentially lost. They didn't really know what they could do or who they could turn to, and they wanted to know my view of matters from a legal perspective, and on a more practical perspective as to what could be done. Now, turning to the legal perspective, the first thing I would say is that if you have been accused by Toeic, given the fact that the Home Office evidence is wholly discredited, they knew at the time that the evidence wasn't reliable. Imagine if an applicant was to rely on evidence that they knew wasn't reliable and go to court and be found out about it. All hell would be visited upon them. They'd be called a cheat, a liar, and probably lose their appeal. But the Home Office continue to rely on it with their secret meeting. Also, they don't disclose, or it's not been disclosed in the letters, that actually ETS paid the Home Office 1.6 million in an out-of-court settlement as a result of the mess they made of this. There's a further shaming factor which the Home Office don't tend to bring out, which is the fact that the ETS inspectors were well aware of the fraud well before Panorama uncovered it, but didn't seem to be bothered to notify the Home Office, which seems odd, or alternatively greedy, or perhaps dishonest. Who knows, but it led to an out-of-court settlement. Problem is that despite the overwhelming evidence that points towards it being a shambles, and if anyone was dishonest, it was ETS, and if anyone was complicit in the dishonesty, it would appear to be the government. I'm still receiving Toeic refusals. I'm still receiving the Toeic refusals accompanied by the lookup tool, which is often relating to a different person, or often if the individual has sat two tests, one test has been cancelled and the other hasn't, and in cases where the person speaks perfectly good English. Indeed, there have been cases where individuals have had their leave cut out where they haven't even sat a Toeic test, or they've never used a Toeic test. But the Home Office, whilst they have the ability to stop making decisions and review their position, which they say they're doing, continue to, if they can smell a Toeic part of a case, use it as a basis for refusal. And at court, what I find particularly disturbing is that the Home Office placed great reliance on this out-of-date, discredited and unreliable material. Furthermore, they often refer to the Operation Facade reports, and there are about 20 odd colleges or so on there, where they carried out investigations and found widespread fraud, and they date and they say that they're going to lead to prosecutions. And the Home Office representatives rely on this as if it is somehow a magic bullet to indicate that that college was participating in fraud. Problem for all that is that these reports are dated the 5th of May 2015. That's the dates I've seen on all of the reports. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think anyone's ever been prosecuted. Now, I know the the CPS is very overworked and is quite tried by its workload, but I can't believe that it would take them some 4 years to bring a prosecution if there was actually a case to bring. But the Home Office, disturbingly, continue to fight these cases tooth and nail. There is an answer to this, and the answer to this is to seek proper representation. Go to the best lawyer and the most effective lawyer that knows and understands Toeic, knows what evidence is to be provided, and can present your case, and it will instruct a barrister who can represent you in court so that you are not caught off guard by poor representation or a poor bundle and an over-enthusiastic Home Office presenting officer and a first-tier tribunal judge who accepts the discredited material that's something you really want to avoid. However, what came out of the meeting with Migrant Voice was that there was a need, an urgent need for answers to specific questions in respect of Toeic, i.e. what to do it, how to prepare a case, what sort of evidence. And I'm currently liaising with Migrant Voice in order to prepare a short series of videos on particular questions. And hopefully provide some helpful advice or guidance or my suggestions for whatever they're worth as to how to win Toeic cases. In my heart, I believe, and my experience has shown that if a Toeic case is properly prepared, it almost inevitably leads to a successful result. Unless of course it is one of the very, very, very small number that I've ever seen that actually have cheated. The vast majority speak English as well as I, if not better than I. So please keep an eye out, because I will be bringing regular updates. I will be liaising with Migrant Voice. They do a fantastic job, and they should be supported in any way at all. I greatly admire the work that they put in and the effort that they put in seeking to have migrants' voices heard, because migrants are often the very marginalised in society, perhaps because they don't vote. That's maybe perhaps a little cynical, and it's important to support organisations that represent those that are the most marginalised in society, those that perhaps can't afford legal representation, or those that can but don't know where to turn, or those that have got great difficulties. As I say, there will be more information coming, hopefully shorter clips, hopefully with some helpful answers. But in the meantime, if you or a family member have a problem with immigration, or immigration related to employment, which is something else I'll be touching upon, please do not hesitate to contact me, Paul Turner, the immigration barrister at Imperium Chambers on 0207 242 3488. Or on my site, theimmigration.barristers.co.uk. I hope this short broadcast has been interesting. Toeic still remains to be being fought by the Home Office, though I cannot for the life of me see how the Home Office can hand on heart defend decisions based upon such flawed evidence. There's another report due to come out. I have the gravest doubts in my mind that that report is going to be anything more helpful to the government than the two previous reports, which have been damning. In addition, I'd like to thank the APPG, hosted or headed up by Stephen Timms MP, who has done a fantastic job and continues to do so in respect of keeping this matter at the forefront of the public eye, because it is indeed a very massive scandal in the way that the Home Office have just swallowed the information from ETS, cancelled people's visas, frightened universities into cancelling visas of people that hadn't even sat an ETS exam, let alone submitted an ETS certificate. But as I say, migrants are the people that are the most vulnerable, and in today's climate, those that can't vote don't seem to count. That's just my personal opinion. But I've been doing this for some 20 years, and there seems to be a trend that is ever more hostile, and that's why it's important that firstly, organisations such as Migrant Voice and other organisations that support migrants are supported, and in addition the political pressure is applied, and on a personal level that you get the best possible representation that you can afford. Read reviews, check people, speak to people. Don't just rush into somebody who somebody has said knows everything without checking their record. It's your life, it's your future, and you're entitled to justice. But again, that's just my opinion. I hope this has been a fairly interesting or informative video. There will be more to come. They'll be shorter, they'll be more focused, but they will be dealing with specific Toeic issues and what to do. Thank you very much for watching. I'd be very grateful if you could subscribe to my channel and press the notification button. It would help spread the message or spread the information if you think it's been of some help. But in any event, thank you. This has been Paul Turner, the immigration barrister at Imperium Chambers.